Well, first I want to say how much I appreciate the opportunity to be able to do this on video. I get a little intimidated, so this is something that moves me out of my comfort zone a little bit. I'm responding to 5 questions from our assignment on Immigration 3.3. Let me read the questions if I could. I'll give you a response. Question number 1, and it's 2-part. 1A says, what is your overall response to the role propaganda plays in shaping perspective about people from other cultures? Propaganda is a very, very effective tool. It's used to give perception. Sometimes that perception is not actual. Sometimes it's twisted. I realized the bombing of Pearl Harbor was a shock to the entire nation. Something had to be done to protect all of America, the United States, the citizens. But moving the Japanese Americans to internment camps not only put their lives, their families through trauma during the war, it affected them after the war. Propaganda played a big part in that. You know, we listened to that video. They used the word Japs. These people were Americans. Some of them, because of that, were probably treated very harshly. Probably weren't even able to go back to their homes after that. Propaganda definitely can give a one-sided view to the listener. We know that today actually it takes on the form which we've heard the term fake news. The second part of that question is, do you see evidence of ethnic-focused propaganda today? I think that ethnic is probably involved, but I don't think it's the focus. I feel like that the propaganda today is probably more politically motivated. I feel like that if it benefits the propagators, it's going to be something that's spoken of today. We've seen where they take a bit of truth and they will change it and twist it and make it to where something that actually was factual turns into something that's fake. The second question is, in segment 17 of Propaganda Wars, the narrator of the U.S. government documentary closes with these words. I want to read these slowly so we get these. We are setting a standard for the treatment of people who may have loyalties to an enemy nation. Then it says, we are protecting ourselves without violating the principles of Christian decency. What is your reaction to this statement? First thing I wonder is, who's we? The reality is the Japanese Americans that were removed from their homes, they were actually a part of the we. The U.S. government did violate their Christian principles. They did violate those. And when they were forced from their homes into those internment camps, they were looked at upon as the enemy. Unfortunately, the standard that was set against U.S. citizens of Asian descent. The third question is what's your reaction to the overall message conveyed by the U.S. government through its explanation of forcing Japanese Americans into internment camps? You know, telling those individuals that they were being moved for their protection was nothing but a lie. And many of those were they were like sheep on the way to the slaughter. If you look at how all those things were, they took everything, had lost everything they had. They could only, whatever they could carry with them is what they took. That's the only thing they owned from that point in time. It's frustrating to me that when this whole war was over, when this thing was over, the U.S. government did not find one individual who was accused of sabotage. Not one, but they treated them like the enemy. That's very, very frustrating to me. Question 4, what's your reaction to hearing about the same historic event that was taken by George Takiya, the Japanese American witness? Can you imagine 4 years old going through something like that? Age 4 is when he was removed. A couple of things that stick out in my mind of his interview. Number one was when he mentioned the term classification 4C, classification of 4C, which meant enemy, non-alien, okay? Enemy, non-alien. They weren't from another country. They were citizens within our country, but they considered them the enemy. That just is, I don't understand that. And then the loyalty questions. He mentioned 40 questions that were given for individuals 17 years and older. And 2 questions that stuck out. Question 27, will you bear arms to defend the U.S.? And the second question is, will you swear your loyalty to the U.S. and forswear your loyalty to the Emperor of Japan? Now we have to understand the placement of where this was. This was 12 months. This is a year after they had been placed into these camps. This was a year after they'd had everything taken away from them. So this has been a year after they had been treated like the enemy, and now the U.S. wants them to bear arms for them. Are you kidding me? And then that question number 28, there's a no-win situation of how you answer that. If you answer no, of course, then you're not going to swear loyalty to the U.S. If you answer yes, then they could be saying, well, maybe you were swearing a loyalty before to the Emperor of Japan. So it was a no-win situation. Question 5, if you were to engage in some type of ongoing cross-culture ministry with the Japanese Americans upon their release from the internment camps, what would that ministry be, and what would be the first steps that you would do to take it? I tell you, the first thing that I would do is I would apologize to them for the pain that they've been through. I would try to regain their trust. Now, you can't demand trust. You have to earn trust. It's going to take time. And I would reach out to them. I would have to do more than just talk about helping them. We'd have to really help them rebuild the things they've lost, help them regain the things that are no longer there. I would also need to understand there's going to be some anger and resentment there, and maybe try to help them through that within those situations as well.